If you are listening to this, then I and everyone else have gone. But humanity has survived. And you, well done for finding this tape. For I hid it deep in the catacombs of Egypt, in a place so harsh it would not be found for hundreds of years. This is the story of one of the most unbelievable periods in human history. So, child, sit back, take note, because this is how the pandemic story really continued. January 2021. A fresh start. The pandemic was behind us. Life for the townspeople could get back to normal. The new normal. But you see, they were deceived. For the virus lived on. And in the shadows it would remain, to rebuild much of its former strength. With the enemies seemingly banished, resuming a normal life was conditional on a successful vaccine rollout. An armor that would keep the townsfolk healthy and protected forever. There was a new prince in town, Prince Biden, the oldest man that ever lived. He must know something about surviving, right? Gives us hope. But hope is a dangerous thing. Hope can drive a man insane. Prince Biden continued the vaccine rollout started by Prince Trump, the prince who had introduced Operation Warp Speed. Man, that sounds fast.
I can go faster! Do it.
The vaccine companies said, "Thank you, my lord, for allowing us to do our jobs instead of blocking it. I mean, we were going to do this anyway, but thank you for your permission. For that, we are eternally grateful." They got to work on creating a vaccine. AstraZeneca, Pfizer, the one Keith is offering next door for $200. Nobody can say Prince Trump didn't try everything within his power to protect the townspeople. Disinfectant, denying the existence of the virus, refusal to wear a mask. What more could he have done? Lockdowns 3 through 12 were not received as enthusiastically as those before. Those quizzes died off, didn't they? I mean, where was the clapping? COVID fatigue had truly set in. Thankfully, in March, lockdown was released for the final time, touch wood. The rollout seemed to be working, and we were ahead of the curve. That's when the true tests really began. Want to go anywhere? Shove this up your nose. Gagging all the way to Walmart. People didn't know how to greet each other anymore. I was grabbing fist bumps, hugging postmen.
She's hugging the postman.
The rules of social interaction were long forgotten. But the rollout had not been unanimously accepted. House Karen were fierce opponents, armed with their degrees in bullshit and Facebook forums. They railed against the program, with some of the views even making it into the mainstream. We were pasty-faced, stumbling back to work, like Gollum coming out of his cave, wearing half suit, half pajamas.
Nobody likes you.
Despite the opposition, jabs and shots started coming thicker and faster than Floyd Mayweather, against anyone but Logan Paul. Oldest people first. Number 1 on the list, Prince Joe. It was sped up tenfold when it was revealed that going on holiday depended on getting double jabbed. The Karens' resolve was truly tested. They now had to choose between the misinformation they had been spreading or a week in Marbella. I'm just gonna say, Marbella was pretty packed when I went. Expensive tests, ever-changing rules, and travel bans complicated the proceedings, but the townsfolk didn't care. They just wanted to go somewhere. I hope I can make it across the border. I hope to see my friend and shake his hand. I hope I can get back before this country is put on the red list. Freshly vaccinated old fogies were lording it around, going to raves and orgies and bingo, sometimes at the same time. My God, I want to go to that party. The success of the vaccines meant friends and families could be reunited. People could go back to their old lives. The end was in sight. The old enemy faded into memory, then into legend, into myth, and soon passed out of all knowledge. Social distancing ended, and bars and clubs reopened. The rules were uncertain. Was licking allowed again? Masks are required until they're not. Expensive government-funded COVID tests were an added burden to anyone who wanted a normal life. Why are these tests so expensive if they were funded by the government? But deep in the shadows, the enemy had been rebuilding, waiting for an opportunity. And when it was least expected, in the dead of night, the virus returned. With some fancy new weapons that would render the townsfolk's new biological armor useless. It returned under a new name, Omicron. It was ready to do battle once more, because the small folk had let their guard down. Unless you're on your 8th booster, it's a problem. Now it is time for everyone to band together. Princes Biden and Trump to stop crossing swords and give everyone a golden shower of protection. Townsfolk and Karens alike, break bread and march on the virus. For if we don't, we're fucked. Like, totally fucking fucked. If you're from the future, let me know in the comments section of this audio recording. Which variant are we on now? Omicron Persei 8? How did the vaccine rollout pan out? Is everybody a robot butler for the Gates Foundation? Or did it just lower the spread of the virus? If that is the case, how boring. Why can't life be more interesting? Like in the movies. I hope people can put aside their differences. I hope life can get back to normal. I hope people can stop using the phrase, the new normal. I hope to see my family again and give them a hug. I hope.